Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into Chris Paul joining the Spurs and teaming up with Victor Wembanyama. Discover how this dynamic duo is set to reshape San Antonio's basketball landscape. After being waived by the Golden State Warriors, veteran guard Chris Paul has now joined the San Antonio Spurs. This prompted the All-Star to share his thoughts about playing for his new team, and with French star Victor Wembanyama, one of the best young talents in the NBA today, Paul has agreed to a one-year, $11 million contract with the Spurs. The 12-time All-Star is set to team up with Wembanyama as San Antonio looks to build a young, talented roster. Chris Paul previously went to Oklahoma City, where he helped Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a young roster start to find their way, lifting them to 44 wins while being an All-Star and All-NBA player. He then joined a young Phoenix Suns team with Devin Booker in the backcourt and led them to the NBA Finals. San Antonio hopes Paul can bring some of that magic to Victor Wembanyama and a young Spurs team. The Spurs have agreed to a one-year contract with Paul to be their point guard. CP3 said he had a long conversation with Greggpopovich that convinced him to come to Texas. The Spurs were linked to CP3 early on when it became clear he was likely headed for the free agent market. Golden State waived Paul on Sunday, as expected, not wanting to pay his $30 million salary for next season. The Warriors and Paul had agreed to push back the waiver deadline by a couple of days, as they tried to work out a Paul George trade with the Clippers, but those talks never came together. The Spurs' contract offer to the 39-year-old, 12-time All-Star point guard was more generous than those from other teams, with available cap space and the new CBA imposing penalties on teams that don't meet the salary floor, 90% of the salary cap. The Spurs saw an opportunity. They are also focusing on one-year deals to maintain flexibility for 2025 when they plan to aggressively upgrade the roster. Beyond working with Wembanyama, Paul can mentor Stephon Castle, the number 4 pick from UConn, who the Spurs hope can become their point guard of the future, playing alongside Wembanyama. If Paul can help this Spurs team exceed expectations, it will be another highlight in a Hall of Fame career for the point guard. After a forgettable 2023-24 campaign with the Golden State Warriors, rumors circulated that Chris Paul would part ways with the franchise. Many expected him to join a title contender since he has yet to win a championship in his illustrious career. Contrary to expectations, Paul is on the cusp of entering a rebuilding situation with the San Antonio Spurs. For many analysts, including Gilbert Arenas, this is incredible news as Victor Wembanyama will have someone who can feed him the ball from every angle. On his show Gil's Arena, the three-time All-Star highlighted how the Spurs had a haphazard offensive style last season. With Paul's addition, they will have a floor general who can define their offensive sets, which will immensely help their play. For Arenas, CP3's ability will enable the Spurs to become at least a borderline play-in team. Last season, the Spurs finished as the 14th seed with 22 wins. Agent Zero expects them to improve by at least 15 wins to have a shot at a postseason berth. He argued that Paul's track record proves he helps improve struggling squads. As a rookie in the 2005-06 season, Paul helped the New Orleans Hornets improve from 18 wins to 35 wins, and they regularly made the playoffs after his entry. When Paul joined the Oklahoma City Thunder before the 2019-20 season, he ensured they remained a playoff squad even after the departure of Russell Westbrook. Additionally, the crew of Gil's Arena discussed the impact Paul can have on the current Spurs roster. They agreed that the team needed a veteran like Paul to teach them how to sustain a high level of play in the NBA. Moreover, Wembanyama will see the ball in his hands more often, making him an even bigger threat. However, since CP3 is on the brink of turning 40, his play has declined. During the 2023-24 season, Paul averaged less than 10 points per game for the first time in his career and played the fewest minutes of his career. However, there was one big difference. With the Warriors, he came off the bench as a backup to Stephen Curry, while with the Spurs, he will be a starter. As a result, his numbers might improve compared to last season, which will bode well for Wemby and co. Many fans expected Paul to join a team with championship aspirations if he were waived by the Warriors. Instead, The point guard did the opposite by signing with the Spurs for next season. Last season, Paul averaged 9.2 points, 6.8 assists, and 1.2 steals per game. Wembanyama, on his part, notched 21.4 points, 10.6 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 1.2 steals, and 3.6 blocks per contest. These combined numbers could pose a significant challenge for other teams in the league. It remains to be seen how Paul's addition to the Spurs roster will shape up as the season progresses. What's certain, though, is that Wembanyama will be getting one of the best basketball minds to run point for him and elevate his game in the process. Chris Paul joining the Spurs to pair with Victor Wembanyama could be a game changer for the franchise. With Paul's veteran leadership and playmaking ability, alongside Wembanyama's immense talent and potential, the Spurs are poised for a significant turnaround. Paul's experience will be invaluable in mentoring the young star, helping him navigate the challenges of the NBA. This dynamic duo could reignite the Spurs' competitive edge and bring excitement back to San Antonio. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for the latest news and insights.